Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping into something I know a lot of us grapple with. Really getting studies organized, absorbing information effectively, but, without feeling totally overwhelmed.
That feeling of drowning in notes and deadlines. It's common.
It is. And you've told us you want efficient, thorough ways to learn. We've looked at different tools, and one that keeps popping up is the Lestallion Journal. We know the brand, the quality.
Right. They put a lot of thought into the design.
Exactly. So today we're going to explore why its specific features are, well, such game changers for studying and focus.
Yeah, what makes this kind of structured journal work?
Our mission, then, is to see how using a journal like this, with these particular features Lestallion offers, can genuinely shift your study habits, maybe even your grades.
It's more than just a notebook. It's about how the design itself interacts with how we learn, how it helps us process things, hang on to them, make study time count.
Oh, I still have nightmares about my undergrad notes. Seriously.
Yeah.
Different subjects all mashed together in whatever notebook I grabbed first.
Been there. Total chaos.
I remember frantically looking for this one physics formula right before an exam.
Yeah.
Found it eventually. Scribbled in the back of my creative writing notebook.
Oh, no. Classic.
If I just had one dedicated place, something structured like a Lestallion, I swear that pre-exam panic wouldn't have happened. Okay, so first things first, why bother with a dedicated study journal at all? Isn't any notebook fine?
Well, dedicating one journal, it creates a kind of mental boundary, a specific zone just for learning. And it's way more than just a container.
Okay.
The actual physical act of writing by hand, it engages your brain differently than typing. It's slower, more deliberate.
Right, you have to think about what you're putting down.
Exactly. You're forced to summarize, to rephrase. That leads to deeper processing, better memory retention.
That makes total sense. It's active, not just passive transcription.
Precisely. And beyond just, engaging the brain more, having that one central place declutters your mind. All your notes, questions, ideas for one subject or all subjects right there. It reduces that mental noise, lets you focus better during actual study time.
Less searching, less worrying about where things are.
And there's a psychological boost, too. Seeing the pages fill up over time, it's tangible proof of your effort. Quite motivating, actually.
Yeah, I get that. That sense of progress is powerful.
Ah.
Okay, so let's get specific. Lestallion journals, they talk about that thick 120 GSM paper. Sounds fancy, but why does it matter for studying?
Well, it directly tackles a really common frustration: ink bleed through.
That's the worst.
Right. Especially if you like using fountain pens, markers, even some gel pens. On thinner paper, the ink ghosts or bleeds right through, making the other side messy or just unusable.
Totally ruins your notes. I remember my sister had this set of gorgeous colored pens.
Yeah.
Completely useless in most notebooks because they just bled everywhere.
See? Lestallion's thicker paper pretty much eliminates that problem. Your notes stay clean, legible, front and back.
So you're not limited in what pen you use. That's actually a big deal.
It really is. It gives you freedom. Okay, another feature. Numbered pages. Seems basic, right? But how does that help studying?
Yeah, page numbers. Simple enough.
But think about finding something specific you wrote down weeks ago. Without numbers, it's a nightmare. A frustrating hunt through pages.
True. Waste so much time.
Numbered pages let you map things out. You can easily refer back, see page 37 for the diagram. You can cross-reference topics. You can build a proper index at the front.
Ah, okay, so it turns the journal into a searchable resource.
Exactly. Your notes start working for you during revision, not against you.
That's a key shift. Okay, what about the cover? Lestallion often uses a soft cover. Some people might think hardcover is better, tougher. What's the advantage of soft cover for students?
Yeah, that's a balance, isn't it? Hardcovers are tough, sure, but soft covers, like Lestallion's, they offer flexibility and portability.
Lighter, maybe?
Generally, yeah. Easier to stuff into a bag that's already full of textbooks. And they often lie flatter more easily, which is great on a small desk or, those tiny lecture hall fold-down tables.
Good point. Practicality matters when you're lugging stuff around campus. Okay, ruling options. I know they offer dashed lines sometimes. How's that different from regular lines or dots or blank pages for studying?
Dashed lines are interesting. They're kind of a middle ground. They give you enough structure to keep your writing neat.
Which helps when you look back later.
Definitely. But they're less visually loud than solid lines. So you feel freer to sketch a quick diagram or do a mind map without the lines getting in the way.
Right, less restrictive.
Yeah. Whereas, dot grid is fantastic for very visual learners, lots of graphs or bullet journaling layouts. Blank is total freedom, maybe better for pure sketching. Dashed gives structure and flexibility. Depends on your style and subject.
Tailoring the tool again. Makes sense. Now, something that works with the numbered pages, a built-in table of contents or index pages, how does that upgrade the journal?
Oh, this is where the organization really clicks. You've got the numbered pages as addresses.
Yeah.
The index is your directory. As you cover topics, key ideas, finish assignments, you log them in the index with the page number. Chapter 5, summary, page 42, photosynthesis diagram, page 58.
I see. So finding things later becomes super fast.
Instantly. It saves massive amounts of time during revision or when you need to connect old info to new stuff. No more desperate flipping.
Sounds like the antidote to my physics exam nightmare.
Yeah.
And the back pocket seems minor, but is it actually useful?
You'd be surprised. Those little thoughtful things often make a real difference day to day.
Why?
That pocket, perfect for stashing loose things, handouts from class, maybe some flashcards you're working on, important slips of paper, keeps them with your notes, not lost in the bottom of your bag.
Okay, yeah. Better than jamming them between pages where they fall out.
Exactly. And the paper itself often described as wood-free, ivory-colored. Any study benefits there?
Ivory versus bright white.
Yeah, the ivory tone is generally easier on the eyes. Less glare than stark white, especially if you're studying for hours, can reduce eye strain.
That's a subtle but important point for long sessions.
And wood-free paper usually means a smoother surface, feels nicer to write on, plus it can help ink absorb better, reducing feathering or even some smudging. Just a cleaner experience.
Anything to make long study hours less painful is good. And finally, the binding they mention lies flat. Why is that a win?
Oh, it's huge for usability. You know how some notebooks constantly try to spring shut?
Infuriating.
Yeah.
Especially when you need both hands free.
Right. A lie-flat binding means it stays open on the desk or your lap, wherever. You don't have to wrestle it. Makes writing much smoother, faster, especially if you're trying to keep up in a lecture or comparing notes to a textbook.
Okay, so putting it all together, we've seen how each feature tackles a specific study issue. The thick paper stops bleed through. The numbered pages and index fight disorganization.
Right, they provide that structure.
Does the paper quality also help with things like smudging? Messy notes?
It can, yeah.
Yeah.
Good quality paper absorbs ink more evenly. So especially with wetter inks that take a moment to dry, you're less likely to smudge it accidentally. Helps keep things legible.
Okay, now stories really bring this home. I was talking to my friend Sarah. She went back to uni after years away, juggling work, kids, totally overwhelmed.
That's tough. The overwhelm is real, especially for returning students.
Her notes were everywhere. Scraps of paper, random files. She felt like she was always behind, couldn't find anything.
A classic symptom of needing a system.
Exactly. Then a classmate suggested a Lestallion. She picked one with numbered pages, dashed lines like the structure, but not too rigid.
Okay.
And she started using that table of contents like crazy. She said it was like finally having a map to her own brain. She knew exactly where everything was.
Ah, that sense of control.
Yes. And she loved the thick paper because she uses colorful gel pens and hated the bleed through in her old cheap notebooks. She told me, straight up, getting organized in that one journal didn't just help her grades, it massively cut down her stress.
That's it. It's not just about grades. It's about confidence, reducing that friction in the learning process. Sarah's story really highlights how these design details aren't just fluff. They solve real problems.
Absolutely. So if someone's listening now, feeling like Sarah did, and thinking maybe a structured journal like this could help, what are some tips to actually use it well?
Okay, good question. First, be intentional. Don't just buy it and hope. Decide how you'll use it. Lecture notes, problem sets, reading reflections. That purpose guides the setup.
Got it. Have a plan.
Second, use the features. If it's a Lestallion, use those numbers from day one. Keep that index updated religiously. Choose the ruling that fits your main task, dash, dot, grid, whatever.
Don't just ignore the built-in tools.
Right, and don't be afraid to experiment inside. Try bullet journal methods for task tracking. Use color coding. Maybe dedicate sections for summaries or brainstorming.
Make it your own system.
Exactly. Those numbered pages make it easy to link related ideas across sections. And crucially, review regularly. Flip back through. Use your index to find things. Don't just let it become an archive.
Okay, great tips. So just to recap the Lestallion advantage for studying, what are the key takeaways?
It's that package deal, really. The soft cover for portability, but still durable. That handy back pocket, loads of pages, so it lasts.
Enough space for a whole semester, probably.
Easily. Plus the choice of rulings for different needs and that critical lie-flat binding for comfortable use anywhere. It just hits a lot of the practical points students need wrapped in a decent-looking package.
Sounds like they really thought about the student
Yeah.
experience. Now, we've talked a lot about notes and organization, but can this kind of journal be more like a space for creativity within studying?
Oh, absolutely. It shouldn't just be a dumping ground for facts. Think of it as a processing space.
How so?
You can sketch diagrams, visualize things, flowcharts, mind maps, especially easy on dot grid paper. Use color to connect ideas, make things memorable.
Engage visually, not just textually.
Exactly. And because the paper quality is good, like in the Lestallion, you can use those different pens, highlighters, maybe light markers without making a mess.
Yeah.
I used to sketch timelines, little cartoons even, for my history courses. Translating info visually really helped it stick.
That's a great point, making the learning active and multisensory. Okay, so while we focused on study, these principles apply elsewhere too, right? Quality journals aren't just for academics.
Not at all. The benefits organization, reflection, capturing ideas, they translate perfectly to personal growth, wellness tracking, creative writing, project planning, goal setting, you name it. A journal like a Lestallion, with its mix of practical features and, well, nice feel, can be a great tool for all sorts of things. The page count, the durability it supports, long-term use, whatever you're tracking or creating.
Right. So wrapping this up, we've seen how being deliberate about journaling for study, especially using a journal with helpful features like Lestallions, can seriously improve how effectively you learn, how organized you feel, even how creative you are with the material.
It really can make a difference.
And for you listening, aiming to learn efficiently, thoroughly, without that drowning feeling, a good study journal is a powerful ally.
It really comes down to that intentionality. Maybe just think about this. How could deliberately using a dedicated journal change your focus, your understanding? What's one small tweak you could make today in how you take notes, how you organize them that might unlock something bigger in your learning?